the primary force of evolution, right? Is the primary selection. So primary selection, one primary selection can be happen when something exists, right? Without existence,
first life needs to exist.
You can't have the primary selection.
Yeah, I just believe that just because you don't have yet an explanation for something, it doesn't mean that the like hocus pocus. It's not that
What's the possible alternative then?
But I have my ideas of what I think. So like, so there's levels of.
She wants your support.
So there's different levels of organization, right? You have the atoms, and then these atoms make molecules, and then these molecules make the first living thing, which is a cell. So you're asking.
According to whom?
That's a huge leap, isn't it? From material to life.
Exactly. So
but isn't that like a big leap? You know, how can you?
It is a leap, but it's not.
How can you justify from abiogenesis life?
So you're asking exactly what we're doing. Emergence.
She's a scientist.
Okay.
Yeah, but
So
depends what her specialty is.
Do you believe in molecules, though?
Yeah, of course.
Those exist. No, because you asked according to. Okay, so there are molecules. So you do know that one water molecule, right? It's not like wet in any sense, right?
Yeah.
But if you put a lot of water molecules together, they're wet.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the same with life.
No, it's not.
No.
Well, that's my.
Because what you talk about molecules is a quality of the.
Exactly, it's a quality.
It's a quality of
life is a quality as well.
No, life is not, because life is something. For example, if you see stones and if you see sentient beings, what's the difference
between stones and sentient beings? This is exactly what I'm saying.
Life, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how do you explain from matter which is lifeless to something which is life?
The dynamic between the molecules.
What dynamic?
That's what we don't know yet. But
no, but you can't then use that as a basis if you don't know.
But just because we don't know it yet, it doesn't mean we can't use it as a stepping stone
Why
to
you should
studying
use it? Yeah, why you should use it? Because the Darwin. First of all, you said the Darwin.
It doesn't have anything.
Yeah, Darwinian evolution. So it doesn't speak anything about what you were saying, right?
Yeah, that speaks more to like what we do, which is it's called like systems perspective or complex systems. It's like looking at things in a systematic sort of way and seeing that like, okay, it's not about the amount of molecules, it's their organization, right?
Yeah, but even if you...
What kind of organization makes life, we don't know.
For example, look, I'll give you...
That's not enough reason to like not research.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. Look, when you see a dead body, it's got all the atoms and molecules you can think of.
Exactly.
Yes, as a human being, as a complex organism, complex life form. Yes, but it is lifeless. Why is that?
Well, it's because you don't only need those levels of organization, you also need energy.
Exactly. So when you say energy, what energy provides life? What is that energy which provides life?
And that's also, when you think about it, when something dies, there's a reason it dies. So like, it's either because like, it didn't eat, for instance, starvation, so not enough energy.
I'm not asking for the cause of death.
Okay.
I'm not asking cause of death. I'm asking a dead body, because you were saying atoms, molecules, complex animals.
No, but you are asking for the cause of death.
No, I'm asking for the cause of life, not death.
Okay.
It's a big difference. Cause of life. It comes.
But I said, I think
you need to have life before you come to death.
Yeah.
See what I mean? So let's start with the very beginning, even before atoms and molecules form. Yes. Where do you think the universe came from?
That's a big question. What do I think the universe came from? Personally, I think it never started.
Really?
I think it always was.
Which scientists say that?
Always?
Just me.
Yeah, but that's not scientific then. I thought we were dealing with science here. What do you think? What is your thought? Where did the universe come from? You don't have an opinion? Okay,
but
that's fine.
I think we need to go now because the sun is out and we wanted to enjoy. But it was good meeting you. And
Yeah. So what we need to do is look.
Did I say enough to get a Quran?
Yeah, of course.
If you don't say anything, you can take
You can have a copy as well. All we are saying is, look, science is good at explaining things which are already in existence.
Science is amazing.
But it's not something that's going to give you answers about origin of things.
I know.
So for example, origin of the universe, origin of life, this thing, science, is something beyond the scope of science. Because when you talk about science, it only deals with the physical world. mostly, isn't it? Unless you talk about the...
Yeah, you know, but some people, I'm sorry, I don't want to step on anybody's feet.
No, that's fine. That's
Some people, maybe not me, but some people don't really care about what the origin of life is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but when you're looking, when you're looking for an answer...
around their life just being like...
Yeah, of course. I mean, no one cares for science either. There are many people out there.
Exactly.
But the thing is, look, as human beings, we are curious.
Exactly.
And we like to know where we came from, what is our purpose in life. You know, everything that's on our body, our clothes, that bottle you have, that bag you have, even that book you have, all of them have a purpose. Do you think we don't have a purpose?
I don't believe that. I believe we do have a purpose.
What do you think?
This is why I'm getting the Quran. This is why I'm spiritual in nature.
Very good, yeah. You know, that is another thing which science will not answer you.
I know.
About the metaphysical world. It's got no answer to that.
Yeah. I study philosophy, I do like yoga, I'm like spiritual, you know? But,
the philosophy of science is a good start, because once you have done science, which is of the physical world, then you deal in the philosophy of science, and it does deal with the metaphysical and so on. And that's the reason we ask these existential questions as to where did things come from and what is their purpose. You see, as Muslims, we believe in the oneness of God, and we believe that He is the best explanation. God is the best explanation, because I don't know if you heard of the Kalam cosmological argument. Have you heard of it? So it's very simple. It goes something like this. Anything that begins to exist must have a cause.
Yeah.
Yes?
This is also in philosophy.
Yes, exactly. It is actually Kalam cosmological argument is a philosophical argument.
Okay.
And it's
Kalam, it's called?
Kalam, yeah. And the reason for that is because it deals with things which we, for example, cannot fathom. So if we were to ask you, okay, what happened before the Big Bang? Yeah, most scientists, inclusive, they'll say before the singularity, they don't know what happened, because time and space itself didn't exist, and they cannot postulate a formula or derive any equations or even make any hypothesis. I mean, they can have guesses, opinions, that's all, but it doesn't have empirical evidence, and without that it fails. The science fails. And that's where many of this, earlier when I asked you where did the universe come from, you kind of alluded to that it didn't have a beginning, whereas the Big Bang theory actually says the universe is 13.8 billion years old.
Yeah, so, but there's also a multiverse theory, that there's many universes.
It's not a theory, those are hypotheses. Yeah. So these are called opinions, which people can have without any evidence.
But you could also say that the Kalam thing, or just... Again, this is maybe, but like the Quran itself is an opinion.
No, it's not, because if you actually observe the Quran, I don't know, have you read the Quran?
No.
Then you can't say it's an opinion without reading it. You need to first read it,
I'm saying
and then say it's an opinion.
Religions, as well as science, as well as the Kalam argument, as well as Spinoza, they're all opinions.
No, I don't think.
And they're all ladder to me.
There are many things in science which are established. Like you talked about matter, about atoms and molecules. You can't say that's an opinion when you can observe it, actually.
So, maybe it's stronger than an opinion because it's been...
Yeah, if something is observable...
Anybody who studied, the philosophy of science would know that, like, it's proven until it's disproven. So maybe one day somebody will come up with, like, oh, no, it wasn't molecules all along.
So how can you be sure that the theory of evolution, right? It's a theory. And for the same reason, you're not taking the Lamarck's theory. That's
why I choose science over other things. Not because it's true, because it always... Because it always builds on itself, right? It's always aspiring to the best truth that it has.
Can you consistent on science then? Can you strictly convinced on science, which is...
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm not convinced that science is the truth. I'm saying it's very difficult, if not impossible, to know the certain truth, but science is the only place that I find that knows that and accepts that and tries to do its best.
With science, you chose the evolution, the beginning of the...
Because that's the best explanation so far. It's not that I'm saying
so far,
100% the evolution, no doubt about it.
There is many contradictions. For example, Darwinian evolution take the genetic drift very fast, then genetic flew, and then genetic flew, and then natural selection, right? So here's the Lamarckian theory is talking differently than the Darwinian theory. So why you are not choosing the Lamarckian theory when it's...
I don't know the Lamarckian theory. If I did, I would think about it. I can't know everything.
Even Darwin, there was another scientist with Darwin who did have a different opinion, and what he chose, they were lost, and their opinion wasn't taken.
Honestly, probably I chose the true because it's popularized.
Yeah, and the homogeneous and the allele gene when it comes to
Brother, you're going too detailed.
Yeah.
She doesn't know Lamarckian theory and you're going rocket science.
Yeah.
I think brother's got a point.
Just a question. Do you think science is like primed for truth in the first place? Because you think it's the best way to get the truth?
Of course. And I think there's no point in doing anything if you don't think at least that it's for
do you
the
think,
Quran
like,
also any kind of
science-
thing and anybody thinks it's
Do you think like science is it a prime methodology for truth?
prime
Like, is it primed to find truth?
for me, yes.
Do you
In
know
my
the
opinion,
objective?
is
Okay, in your
yes.
opinion. So what I'll tell you is that I disagree with you. I want you to try to argue with me. I'll tell you that science is only primed for best explanation based on a limited data set. Actually,
Yeah,
has
but
no interest in truth.
but don't you think that is the best way to get to truth? What would be better?
It's a possibility you might strike truth. Now, betting your hopes and saying that I'm gonna take my truths that I live my world, I live my life by through science.
Yeah.
You're making a big mistake because you're doing it on a system that's never even primed for truth in the first place. You get that? You might strike gold occasionally.
It's not even the best explanation. It's not even a good explanation.
No, it's the best explanation based on a limited data set. Limited data set means that your data set continually expands.
But that's the limits we have, right?
No,
we have
it's the limits in science. That's the problem. You're limiting yourself to science. We're telling you don't need to
What's
do
your
it.
alternative? That's
Well, let's what's it called? There's revelation.
By the way, she believes in the philosophy of science as well, not just science.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm
I'm a
philosopher of science.
Okay, cool.
So what I'm saying is, why are you artificially limiting yourself to just the scientific method to learn anything about the world?
I'm not sure that I am limiting myself personally as a person.
Okay.
I don't.
No, but the reason why I said that
I
is
think
because
intuition
you said,
goes a long way, but
good.
intuition is also very much intertwined into science. I think like the best scientists in the world, I think were ones that were led first by intuition, but after that intuition, there's empirical science.
Agreed, but I'll say that I'll agree to say that intuition has some place in our epistemology, in the way we see the world, the way we understand the world. My question to you is: you said when we said about the Quran and all that, you dismissed it as opinion, but you said,
I didn't dismiss
not
it as
dismiss it.
opinion.
Apologies.
I called everything
You called
opinion.
everything opinion, but you said science is a more strong, or it could have
No.
some.
No, she included science as an opinion as
I
well,
also
which I don't think was
the
right.
only difference to me between science and other things, that's why I like personally like science just like I like to
because it
dance, you know?
evolves.
Exactly. It's because its prime, its premise is that we don't have the truth. So we keep building on it, we keep doing better. And the premise of like religion is we have the truth, and that's not for me.
Yeah, but to your point, if science is evolving, when you're pinning your life on that, that's not a point for science. The point is that why does science evolve? Because it was wrong. That's the point. So if you're pinning, let's say you live today, you lived a bit of time ago, maybe 40, 50 years ago, when static state model was a thing, and you maybe rejected God because you believe that the static state model for some reason it showed you that God doesn't exist, and then you died, and then years later, now they don't believe in static state model. So the point is, you're putting your whole life, you're putting your afterlife, your possible afterlife in jeopardy for what? For facts that keep on changing. I don't know if you're aware of Thomas Kuhn, right? With the his text is basically the standard base text in philosophy of science, which is the structure of scientific revolutions. Every 50, 100, 200, whatever years, science goes through a major shift where all these things that we thought were like rock solid theories get thrown away and replaced with foundationally different things. So, and he explains how there's a structure to these revolutions. There's stages that science goes through. So we might right now be in a stage where everybody's quite happy to accept Darwinian evolution, and that's completely fine. You could take science for what it is. Okay, it's a best explanation based on a limited data set. Now the question is, science has nothing to say on morality. Absolutely nothing. Science has nothing to say on consciousness. It really doesn't. Neurobiologists. It can't actually. If you want to go down this road, it has nothing to say. All it has to say is that brain states exist and we could map these. Neurobiology is just a study of correlations. All we do in neurobiology and the field of cognitive science, etc., we map brains. Think of a bat, for example. This is actually the Thomas Nagels. He's an atheist, by the way, and he got a lot of backlash for going against the physicalists and materialists for saying this stuff. A bat, no matter how much we study it, no matter how much we map its brain, we'll never know what it's actually like to experience and use sonar abilities, etc. In the same way, you'll never know what it's like for me to be me and have this experience from my perspective, my subjective experience, and you as well.
But this is, are you making an argument for religion or just
Making an argument.
He's saying what science cannot, what is beyond science scope.
First of all, I do think that's again my personal opinion. Actually, as a neuroscientist and as a philosopher, I do think one day we will be able to crack the problem of qualia.
Are you into neuroscience?
So she's okay, perfect. So consciousness is up your alley, yeah?
No, consciousness, yeah.
Yeah, so she's a neuroscientist and a philosopher. Okay, perfect. So let me tell you why that will never happen.
Yeah.
Okay? Even if you could map out every single brain, all the brain mappings of a human being, if you have a completed, neurobiology, neuroscience, and cognitive science, whatever you want, it's all completed. All you'll have is a set of correlations. Nothing more, nothing less. So you could monitor my brain, scan my brain, and you could see the neural firings as I'm eating a slice of cheesecake, and all you could say is, this neural firing happens when this action happens.
So do you actually believe that the electromagnetic changes in the brain or the nervous system is actually consciousness? Do you actually believe that?
I believe that there's going to have to be a new kind of science, kind of like what happened with like quantum mechanics, which we still don't understand, but certainly it's a different kind of like way of thinking.
That doesn't address my question.
No, it does.
So is it conscious?
It's like not what you would want as an answer because it's a perfect.
Electromagnetic changes in the brain or the nervous system.
Changes, yeah. Okay.
Well, electrochemical changes.
Yeah.
To put it more accurately.
Yeah.
Do you know any credible expert in this field that has said this is consciousness?
Well, there's what's his face. It doesn't matter though.
Because so far from what I know, they don't have any empirical evidence for consciousness.
Yeah, of course.
It's always been a subjective...
It's literally called the hard problem.
Exactly.
Because it's a very hard problem to solve because the measurements, the kind of tools that we have now aren't the right kinds of tools to measure consciousness. Agreed.
No, so this one was the whole point of this discussion right now, why I brought in consciousness, why I brought in morality, all this is to show you that you might want to start giving, or I think that you already give more credence than you think to other avenues of truth other than science.
Oh yeah.
The fact that you're not a skeptic right now, you definitely give a lot of credence to intuition and testimony.
I also think intuition could be scientifically explained, but yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But even
because
that,
intuition is based on like millions of years of evolution. It's in many ways it's way more.
I mean, that's all that's very speculative statement, anyways. And I don't want to get into it. There's no issues. But all I'm telling you is the whole point. We're just trying to give you different avenues to say, look, science has nothing to say on consciousness. Nothing. It can't. You're right. It's called the hard problem of consciousness. And I'm telling you, there's even a completed data set of science on this matter could never, because the point is you're using the wrong tool for the job.
Yeah.
You know the Mary argument?
Yeah.
So all facts, if physicalism is true, all facts obtained within physical facts.
Yeah.
Mary does not, Mary learns a new fact when she steps out of the colorless room, therefore physicalism is false. To explain to the audience, explain to the camera, Mary is the top scientist in a completed neurobiological field, in a completed cognitive field, and she studies everything there is to know about color. She knows everything there is to know about the color red. However, she spent her whole life, her whole existence in a colorless room. And she one day steps out of this room and sees a red rose for the first time. Mary learned something new that she did not know before when she learned what it's like to see red.
Yeah.
So therefore, physicalism is not true. There are facts which aren't physical, and science is only concerned with physical facts. It's talking about observations.
So this is a bit of a conjecture. I mean, because you could say that, just like I gave the example of the molecule, oh, you weren't here, but that one molecule, if you take one molecule, it isn't wet, right? But if you take a bunch of molecules and you organize them in just the right way, right, then it's water and then it's wet. That's a quality that you can't explain wet. You can't explain wetness in physical terms.
But I'm not giving you
But
equality.
Nonetheless, it does emerge from physical terms. So there is an explanation.
Yes, you're talking about phenomenal. What's
talking about
something right?
emergence.
Yes, emerges. Yeah, but that doesn't matter. Well, that doesn't impact Mary's
It's still physical,
argument.
isn't it?
It's so that I know which I just forgot the name for, where a physical state equals another physical state, and then the physical state one gives rise to a mental state. That, by the way, is a very unfavorable view in philosophy because it seems arbitrary. Not it seems, it's quite arbitrary, and there's no need for it. If a physical state causes another physical state, what's the mental state doing? It's unnecessary in the whole equation. You could have a simpler, more comprehensive explanation in physical state 1 in the brain equals physical state 2 in the brain. So, my point back to you is...
Hence the hard problem of consciousness.
Yes, hence the hard problem, and hence the point to...
Because you're dealing with metaphysical, not physical. So physical world you can observe, you can go to a lab, do experiments. But when you have nothing to go by, no empirical evidence for consciousness, what exactly are you going to research?
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like me and him, we actually did do research exactly on that kind of stuff, on emergence. It's way harder research, but it's research on dynamics between particles.
But you know, philosophy, we like
It's
Occam's
between
razor.
neurons in the brain or between molecules or between... It's a very, very early science, but...
It is, but my whole point to you is that science has no access. I'm sure you will learn more things. I'm just telling you, you will not be able to explain the hard problem of consciousness through
I
science
would
because
agree
you're
with you
using...
100% in the next probably, I don't know, it's hard to predict, but I would say probably in the next 30 years you're right, and then after that, wrong.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's so many scientists that said so many things about so many things like that. So the point is, it's like me giving you a tape measure and asking you how much do I weigh. You're using the wrong tool for the job.
Yeah.
Basically, and we're not saying it's impossible to learn what
It's
consciousness
just, I think the
is.
difference
We're not
between you and me
saying
is that I'm an optimistic, generally, and also when it comes to human knowledge and what we're able to acquire, and it seems like you're, in scientific terms, when it comes to science, you're pessimistic.
No, I'm not pessimistic at all. I just think that...
No, in terms of what we are able to achieve.
Yes, I know.
We believe science has a scope, and you cannot say...
I believe science doesn't have a scope.
So you think science...
Okay, wait. Can science...
So it can do anything?
Anything.
No.
But we just need time.
One second.
I think we can get...
I think that's over-optimistic.
I think we
Yes.
will populate literally the whole galaxy. I do.
Yeah, but okay, so these are opinions.
Let's discover the sea first before we go to the space.
Prediction.
No. But based on
Of
what?
course it's an opinion.
No, okay, exactly. So, but the point is that we are not pessimistic on what science could actually give us. We're actually just realistic because we're looking at the scientific method, and we're realistic in the sense that we're looking at what the scientific method could achieve. We're looking at the bounds it has, and we're not asking of science what it can't deliver in the first place. You're setting yourself up for disappointment. I'm not. That's the only difference. I'm
going to be well dead.
No, I'm not saying, yeah.
That happens.
I mean, yeah, sure, but in your life, maybe you won't see it happen, and that's fine. But what I'm trying to say is, you don't need to do that. You could really just take science for what it is. A great discipline where we observe and make conclusions about the natural world, and these conclusions are best explanations based on a limited data set, and we don't need to dispose of them. However, we also don't need to restrain ourselves, even subconsciously a bit, take things with a grain of salt because they're not scientific. Not everything needs to fit within the realms of science.
Like that. I used to be like, oh, if something isn't scientific, then it'll be... Nowadays, since Corona, I don't think like that anymore. So that's why I don't use science to make decisions about, or even philosophy, to make decisions about my life or morals, of course. But when it comes to science and what we can achieve as a society, when it comes to matter or even consciousness, yeah.
But now you're agreeing with us. It does have a scope. Yeah. Earlier you said it doesn't have a scope.
Yeah.
In terms of what we can do in the future,
even now. Morality is now, not in the future.
In the future.
Yeah.
So it does have a scope.
It does have a scope.
Thank you.
What you can do.
That's what I've been telling you.
Science doesn't deal with morals 100%.
Yeah, but earlier you said it can do everything.
So we're on the same page. So, no, sorry. I don't shake hands.
Sorry.
Okay, we're roasted. But
You can shake hands with this friend.
Yeah,
no problem.
I'm shaking hands on your behalf. Okay,
Sorry.
So no shaking hands. It's all good.
Now it's cancelled out.
The point is, sorry. No, I'm Muslim as well, so we're not shaking hands. Yeah. So, anyways, the point is, sister, is that now we've reached an agreement that we could assess other areas of knowledge to reach conclusions that we might live our world by, yes? So this could be testimonial knowledge, this could be intuitive, this could be revelation, and you must sincerely actually take this into consideration, like, a lot of science is actually based on testimony. You know that, like, when you do
Science is biased.
no, not. By the way, I'm not. When I say testimony, I'm not talking about bias. But yes, science is biased.
Testimony means you have to believe someone. Like, for example, the previous scientist, like if Albert Einstein is someone who's credible scientist, then you can take his testimony as valid. Okay? Obviously, not every scientist will perform every single test and experiment. They have to go based on.
Nothing may be more biased than religion, right?
You haven't looked into religion. I don't think so.
That's the question. Now, you just showed you might have a bias to think because of maybe your socialization or whatever, to think that religion has some extra bias that science doesn't have. Scientists are just as dogmatic as any other religious person. Okay, thank you for your participation. Yes, thank you. Thank you for your participation.
Just ignore him, Mr. Carry on.
Anyways, yeah, let's just ignore him. Ignore him, it's fine. But anyway, so the point is that you might have just to yourself, you might have shown to yourself right now that you have some bias that you might want to explore and possibly see if you should eliminate. Now the question is, you said you can't use science for morality. So what do you use for morality? That becomes the question.
My own intuition.
Okay,
and
so
other people,
can your intuition,
and then my own intuition.
Using your own intuition, do you think there is a possibility that God exists?
Oh, of course, there's a possibility.
Okay.
But if we, maybe this is scientific information just because my brain works that way, but like, if we take the possibility of everything existing and that possibility, it's
but
one in a
when I say possibility, I mean using reason, using rational, not just blind faith.
I don't see any reason to believe. It's like a philosopher said, I think. Okay, I don't remember.
Yeah, go on.
Okay.
Philosophers say a lot of things though.
Yeah, but an ancient Greek philosopher.
They're
he said
wrong. No, I'm kidding.
if man was if horses had like human intelligence or something, then God would be in the shape of horses, and that what that means is that we just shaped.
But God just saying that God is an idea that human beings made. I get the point.
But not only made, but made in their form.
Yes, but we don't believe in a God made in our form. We're not Christians. We don't believe in a God that's made.
Exactly. We don't believe that God is like a man.
A man with a beard.
Because that argument doesn't really wash with Islam.
I didn't read the Quran.
Yes.
But is your God jealous?
No. When you say, look, there's different.
Is your God angry? I think he might be angry.
But
all the gods are like super angry.
No. God is more merciful.
Yes.
In fact, God's mercy, it is over his wrath. It's more. So the wrath is something which is less in comparison to his mercy. His mercy is, for example, the reason.
The fact that he has mercy.
The reason you don't see. The reason you don't see God zapping everyone every time they commit a sin shows that he's merciful. Now imagine people are sinning all the time. Yes, whether it's minor sin, major sin. You don't see God zapping everyone all the time, do you?
And what do you think?
Why do you think that is? That's because God, even to an atheist, is merciful. He gives them his means to breathe the air that He's created and the food that is.
Don't you think it's
God.
better? You were talking about just what benefits me to believe, right? Yeah. It's not beneficial to me to believe in science. Don't you think it's not so nice to go through life thinking that you owe someone your life? Don't you think it's better?
What's better to know that, to deep down know, or just try to hide the rest of your life that you owe everything to something and you're actually ungrateful?
I'm
Wouldn't
not
that be weird?
ungrateful.
No, I'm saying you
so
are.
Grateful.
I
wake up every morning so grateful for my mom, for my dad, for my friends.
Who gave you your mom and your dad and your friends? Who gave you your mom and your dad?
Who created all of them?
Their mom and their dad.
And who created all of them? No, so what is the point? Okay, let me give you.
Do you remember I told you where the universe came from?
You can be grateful without.
No, you could be grateful to the wrong thing.
You can be.
What does grateful mean then? What does that grateful mean?
Looking at the world.
Grateful means
happy to be alive.
Grateful means you show gratitude to the one who provided you the sustenance.
That's the thing. I don't think.
Do you remember when I asked you earlier where did the universe come from, and your answer was?
That I don't know.
Exactly. Now, what is earlier you mentioned the best explanation.
I don't need to have an explanation to that.
Earlier you said you need
I'm so happy to be alive.
need a best explanation, and that's the reason you use science. Now, science cannot be the best explanation because science doesn't have an answer to this.
I do science because because I enjoy it.
No, you said this is the Big Bang was the best explanation, remember? You said evolution was the best explanation, do you remember? So these best explanations, when it comes from science, you accept it. But when we tell you the best explanation, and the only plausible explanation is there must be a cause that has brought about all these things with a contingent.
I also think there must be some kind of cause, but then there's a huge leap to say that it must be God.
No. We are not going to that point yet. All we are saying is there is a necessary existence. We believe there is a necessary existence, and that is important. Yeah.
What? The brother spoke. You said, "I'm not sure you believe in science."
Yeah.
And basically, because I hear Big Bang mentioned, I'm not sure if you said it or not. As you know, science changes by time. For example, Big Bang came, after Big Bang came, redshift came. So you don't believe in Big Bang now, you believe in redshift. Science changes by time.
Redshift is part of the
Religion doesn't change.
It's part of the Big Bang.
That was my point. That was my point for believing.
Sister, sorry.
That's exactly my. That's what I like about science.
You like it changes.
Let's talk a bit about Allah, because I think that's where she's lacking.
Keep saying that they're right, no matter what kind of information.
Because maybe the contingency argument might be a good point to inject in here.
The right kind of information. He says, you know what, I was wrong, and I'm going to change my mind.
Sister.
Which kind of person would you prefer?
I mean, I would prefer the one who is really correct. They believe that.
Brother, can you just bring the camera here, please?
I mean, I must like accept.
Yeah, just.
What?
Is this coming in the way?
Only speaking for yourself.
Oh, well, everything I'm saying now is speaking for myself, but I believe
Just make sure the poles don't come in the
nobody
way.
actually does this. Anybody who says that they do know the truth is suspicious. You know?
What about the he wants to discuss the contingency argument. You know the contingency argument? Have you heard of it?
About it relates to what? Do you know?
Okay, so maybe you want to just give us a brief of the contingency
So I just
argument?
want to know what you said. You believe that this universe must have come from something else, correct?
Well, unless like what I really think is that it's always been around, which is hard to explain. But
Okay, so
how you would explain it?
Which is against the established science.
I'll tell you what the Quran says, and then we'll venture into what you think. Allah says, ask us to reflect. Were they created from nothing, or were they the creators of themselves? Or did they create the heavens and the earth? They have no certainty. So you're in that area right now where you're trying to figure out what Allah is calling you to reflect upon. Yeah? Did you come from nothing, or did you create yourself? Now we know, rationally, something that's not in existence cannot create itself. Yes? Okay, cool. So let's throw that option away. Okay? So now, let's talk about, you said already, what's it called? Sorry, I lost my train. Let's talk about if you said this universe needs to come from somewhere, correct? And what's your strongest, best explanation for that?
I don't think I'm the one who needs to. I want to ask you, why is God? Why God? Why not be agnostic? And say,
We're not going to God yet. We are just setting the ground.
We're trying to look. We observe things in the universe. We observe this universe. When you observe such a thing, you should have an explanation for it. So, where do you think you came from? Where do you think all this came from?
I think to
just tell me what you
just make it brief.
What's this? It depends what.
The
but
cosmos.
The cosmos. But just like I said, my personal opinion, not even as a scientist, just like as a person who has intuition and just thinks things, and imagination.
Yes.
Okay. My imagination tells me ever since I was young there was no beginning ever.
Okay.
The Big Bang was the beginning of this universe, but then there was like.
So let's talk about just.
Okay, imagine like wormholes, right? Imagine that but this is like it's just imagination. I think just
That's why you
don't need to go all that. All you need. No. Forget this imagine stuff. No. All you need to. Let's talk just rational. You love the rational stuff. Let's keep it at the rational stuff. Okay. If this stuff, there was a time where all of the cosmos did not exist.
Yeah.
Yes. There was a time where that happened. Then it came about. Unless you want to argue a different thing. If this came about.
I mean,
so what?
But I can't argue for it.
Okay, so if you can't argue for it, don't bring it to the table. Because then it's just an opinion that we can dismiss because there's no
I
evidence.
think you also can't really argue for God.
No. We're not even there. Why are you putting the cart before the horse? We're trying to right now.
Let's talk about something, brother. Let's talk about something that exists.
Because what I'm saying is how do you say it in English? The obligation of proving is on you, not on me. Because I'm not.
No, but we are using.
Wait.
We are coming there. We haven't jumped the gun
I've
yet.
never said that. I said that I'm agnostic.
Yes, okay,
I don't know.
fantastic.
But you're saying that you do know. So why are you asking me what's my argument for life?
No, I'm not asking you for an argument. I'm saying what do you think? So you told me what you think.
But
So
you
now
said,
my
but
question.
then you said you can't make an argument.
No. I'm saying if you want to propose, because you said two things, yeah. You said I don't know. Then you said I do want to argue for the for. You said you might want to argue for the.
I can argue for evolution. I can argue for, but I can't argue for
the multi or whatever,
the
multiverse.
first thing that ever
Okay,
happened.
fantastic. So let's talk about that. Look, this whole universe is contingent. Would you agree?
Contingent.
Contingent. It's something that could have been in another way. It's something that is not necessary in nature.
I personally don't believe. I'm deterministic.
Why do you? Oh, okay, no, but okay. Then you'd have to argue for determinism. Do you think that you have any choice in
Well,
being
you
here right
you
now?
actually already kind of made half the argument for determinism before. You said everything has a reason. If everything has a reason,
No, not necessarily. No. You could believe in compatibilism. It's quite a popular.
What I said earlier is that anything that exists must have a cause. Do you believe that the universe exists?
yeah.
So what would be the cause? Most likely, we are not.
don't know.
No. Look. Take a guess. What is the most
No, I don't
likely?
want to
Most
take
likely.
it. All right, but
That's
I'm
the most
saying-
likely thing that could have. It couldn't have created itself, right?
Why is it worth? Why is it worth talking about just conjectures?
No, it's not conjecture. We can using intuition, using our reasoning.
use it. I would-
Of course, you can use intuition.
My brain
So
tells me.
Does your brain tell you that the universe caused itself? Does it tell you that?
My brain tells me that it always existed, and us as humans, we can't possibly fathom that because we can't.
Okay, is that possible?
We don't fathom infinity, and
But
that's
you
been
know
shown.
you're going.
No,
everywhere.
but you know you're
but is
going
that possible
against
scientifically?
Scientifically.
Yeah.
Not really.
Exactly.
Because
You are. The
everywhere
majority
in
opinion
science
is not
and philosophy,
is not
we
a
would say
infinite
that
universe.
human intelligence, science has a scope because human intelligence has a scope.
No, that's not why. It's
Human
'cause
intelligence
data has a
no.
scope, and science
No,
has
human
restrictions.
intelligence has a scope.
Okay, why do scientists
And the
say?
biggest, and the most like intrinsic scope that you can think of is the fact that we can't fathom infinity. We can't think
No,
about
you
it.
can fathom it. Actually, just it's something that you can't add or subtract to. It's simple. Yeah, that's it.
So let me ask you, why do
Just like
scientists?
absolute
But
nothing.
that's
You know,
why
absolute
when
nothing.
I say I think the universe has been around, it's just like always existed.
No, that's not what the scientists say.
That's not
They say it is
yeah.
13.8 billion years old. Why do they say
That's
that?
our universe.
How many universes are there? Have you seen one outside ours?
I think billions.
No, have you seen one?
What?
Have you seen one outside our universe?
So,
So it's speculation then.
Why are you getting that?
No, let me tell you why. Because you said before, let me tell you why. Because first, we shouldn't live our life off of imagination and delusions.
Yeah,
and you said you like
speculation.
reason. You're the
I
one.
don't think the way to go. This is like a waste of time. Hours
No, you
thinking and
definitely
thinking
can.
the way to go.
We don't hold the position that God is. I mean, okay, so then that's a.
I don't
that's
want
a
to
problem. Okay, no, but you can't bring that in.
Afternoon thinking our way to God. We're not going to get to God.
No, we were talking about the universe, not about God.
Dismiss it
I
out.
would quite like to.
By the way,
fine.
bro, we were talking about the universe.
Promotional material.
We were talking about the universe and not about God.
Promotion.
Yeah, you're
It's purely education.
Yeah, it's like straw man arguments for the camera.
Yeah.
No, you can talk. Are you saying your opinions would be different if the camera wasn't here?
So you're saying like scientists think.
How do y'all think we got here?
So would your opinions change if the camera wasn't here?
God, not
I didn't even notice.
No, that's what I'm saying, exactly. So whether the camera is here or not, would your opinion change? So I don't know why he's objecting to the camera.
Actually,
How do y'all think we got here?
Yeah, how do you
How do we got here? Look, all I know is that we were talking about the universe. And, yeah, I'm coming. So we were talking about the universe, where it came from, the origin of the universe. And the lady here, I didn't catch her name. Natalie, I'm Hashim, by the way. So Natalie said that there could be possibility of multiple universes. I said we don't have any evidence for that. Science doesn't have evidence for that. It is at best a speculation. Okay?
so
Now the question that I asked her is that we believe that our universe exists, and anything that exists must have a cause. Do you agree so far?
What do you mean a call?
I'm just gonna say.
Cause means it didn't come about by itself.
Like a CAUSE?
C-A-U-S-E, cause, yes. Yes. Do you agree with that? That anything that exists must have a cause?
Yeah, I got here somehow.
Exactly, yeah. So your cause, you could say, get the free Quran, guys.
it is free.
Yes.
No. I enjoyed this.
Alhamdulillah.
But I do have to go. Like I wanted to spend my time with my friend.
Yeah, no worries. But all we'll say to you is read the Quran.
Sorry, where were we? Yeah, she's
Okay,
gonna take
sure.
over.
I got you, girl.
Thank you.
All right, next.